we go. All right, this is Jackie, and I'm here with the Dollyrots. We are at the infamous Ottobar in the middle of Baltimore. I read somewhere that your band was the result of the 2000 election. So, what do you attribute to the band's longevity? We're finally approaching another election. How do I say that tactfully?
You don't have to
Yay.
be tactful about it.
Good, I can't.
No,
Yeah.
no. I feel like everything kind of got like went full circle and then got way worse. I feel like we had the right like mindset then. It was like, oh my gosh, like Bush just won the election, like the world's just gonna like fall to
World's gonna
pieces.
end anyway. Forget grad school. We'll just like move to California, be in a band, and be happy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it just made us realize what we really wanted to do and just continue. At this point, I think our purpose is to make people happy. And I think, we may get a little political here and there, but we try to keep it, happy and and fun, and so people have a pick me up because we all need an escape at this point.
Absolutely. I kind of feel like after all the news of this weekend, I was like, I saw that the show was coming up, and I was like, good, because I thought the same thing. I need a reason to be happy. I need some lightness to my day, and I think that that's what one of the many things that music can provide. So I think that's really important.
One song in our set list, and last night it popped up, and I was like, "Oh God, I want to cancel. I want to cut it. I want to cut it." We
Well,
didn't
it's
cut
like
it fast
it's the
enough,
one
and I was just like,
political
"Oh."
song.
But it broke me out of the bubble, and I was like, "Oh, I hope it doesn't break them all out, and then they can't come back in, like, because it's important to keep it like that." And,
I think I think it's impossible to completely ignore everything that's going on and completely be saturated in it. So I do think that kind of being in the middle and knowing that it exists and acknowledging it and kind of coming back is important too. Your more recent album recently came out, Daydream Explosion. How is that an evolution since Eat My Heart Out a while back?
Oh my God. We're like,
If you put those
Yeah,
two albums
Justin,
together,
as somebody who has been in the band for a few years now, like, what do you see the difference between like the first one and this one? 'Cause it's hard for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see the evolution as far as like songwriting, and just when you first started out, you had the rawness of the
Yeah.
music too, and you still have that in it. But I think the songwriting for me has changed a lot and gotten better, and I really like it the way that it's seeing it
Yeah.
going from that one to this
A
one.
little bit less of Ramones cover band.
yeah. Well, I think you just like you end up like that first record, like they say, like you have your whole life to write your first record, like,
Yeah.
and after that, it's like you're kind of like chasing the next record, and we just we've written like hundreds and hundreds of songs at this point, so I hope we've gotten like a little bit better. But then on top of that, it's like we have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, so we have no time to like reconsider.
Oh yeah, we used
You
to
know,
pine over thoughts.
like it'd be like, what about this
oh, I
lyric?
don't know about
What
this
about
word in this
yeah,
line, and I'm like,
I don't know about
"Shh,"
this part,
like,
and that
if
just
the
doesn't.
song isn't cool, like, just drop it.
Yeah,
Like, just
basically
something new.
that record, the most recent record, it was written in like 3 weeks, and most of the parts, most of the vocals, guitars, whatever, were like the first take, like the demo. It was supposed to be the demo guitars, and we just kept them
We kept them.
because like we don't have time to like overthink it, and I think that hopefully it comes across as like spontaneous. So in a way, this record is a lot like Eat My Heart Out to me
Yeah.
because it's a more just spontaneous kind of like almost like naive just expression of whatever we're thinking. There's nothing contrived about either one of those records.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why people like it.
I like that
Yeah.
similarity. That works for me. So, is there a song on the new album that you want new fans to listen to first to get an overall picture of the album?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just the first track.
Yeah.
I feel like that, like, when we recorded,
is?
which is Animal. So Animal's track one, and that was written, like, the instrumental was done, and we were in the studio finishing it all off, and those lyrics were written, like, the night before they were sung. It
I
was like,
still didn't have them. I like got up to the like music stand and the mic the next morning. It was also first thing in the morning, like 10 a.m. We had
Yeah.
gone out the night before.
Yeah.
I was like all, bleh.
yeah.
And I don't know how that one happened. That was kind of magic, but it was very quick
Yeah.
and
But it's got
Yeah.
this like energy to it, and we felt like it kind of like set up the feeling for the rest of the record. So yeah, that's why it's the first track. It's like
Yeah.
if it's the first one we want people to hear.
Recently, you released a video, I believe a couple days ago, for In Your Face. Who came up with the treatment of that video?
Yeah,
So
you know.
kind of in that whole like we don't have a whole lot of time thing. Um, Abysmal Entertainment, this guy Stephen Shea, he reached out to us with our last record, and he was like, "I've got this idea for Mermaid. You know, do you guys want to go film at Wikiwachi Springs where they have like mermaid shows? It's in this natural cove. It's amazing." And we're like, "Yes." And he's like, "Cool, show up this day." And we did, and it was awesome. And so then he wrote, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Florida. I've got this idea for In Your Face." And I was like, "Yes." And
Like, he was like, "Be here on a Monday at whatever and get your fans out." And we were like, "Sure,"
okay.
but we had no idea. But he's a person, much like a bunch of people we work with that are like true fans of the music and understand us because like either we
Yeah.
worked together before or we've worked together forever. And so he totally understood like where we were coming from because that song is so high school. You know what I mean? It's like it's gonna be like a dance, like a school dance, and I totally get that because that song's written from the standpoint of like I don't
17
know what
years old.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
17 years old and I have no idea what's going on with my life. Like,
Yeah.
so, because we could still go back to that. I
Those
don't mind
choruses, man, when I sing them every night, I mean them even more at this age.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like it's a the message is like not you know not taking so seriously what you perceive other people are thinking of you.
Yeah.
Like it's just like yeah, freedom, whatever.
And as a teacher of seniors in high school, I think that that's a really great message to send. What is your favorite dance move?
Ooh. I kind of.
May or may not ask
No,
you
we
to
have
do it.
no, we have like a okay here. You what's yours?
I don't know what it's called, but it's
Yeah.
you kind of do a thing.
Oh,
It's
the
kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it's called.
No.
I want to say
But-
hooky, but I have no idea.
We just
why.
like
Yeah.
we know this because we
the
filmed
animal video.
yeah we filmed
Yeah.
we filmed a video for Animal and it involved going out on Hollywood Boulevard in a bunny suit and when it was Justin's turn he did that like dance straight
And a
like,
whole bunch
yeah.
of other awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not only my favorite. I think it's just my only dance move I can do.
uh,
So I think that's why it's my favorite.
yeah, me and Kelly's is we just grab each other by the arms and spin
Spin.
each other as fast as we can, and then eventually just
Yeah.
fly off in opposite directions. That's literally our dance move.
When I was pregnant, I went to a couple weddings though, and I had this like belly twerk thing that I was
Like
doing
massively
that was
pregnant. Like
it,
not
it
not
upset
like
it upset the grandmas so bad.
she's like
And I was laughing so hard. I was crying the
It's
whole
like-
time because like I could like pop it up with like the muscles. Like it was just awful.
like
and
pregnant-
awesome.
pregnancy twerk.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
I do like a good pogo though.
All right, very nice, very nice. So, speaking of music videos, what role do you see music videos playing in 2019 when we no longer have a dedicated channel for them?
I think it finally is important again because there was this long period of time where like MTV wasn't really doing music videos. VH1, I don't even know if it's a thing.
It does exist.
Yeah.
But again, it's either reality TV
Yeah.
or reality TV.
Yeah. Maybe a documentary.
Yeah, and like music-based movies. And
Yeah, but I think we have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I see like the babysitters, and I see the generation that is growing up right now. They live on YouTube, and so I do think that in a way that independent record labels have helped bands get their music out to people. I think YouTube is a pretty good tool to get it out there. I think it'd be really cool if it was curated and there were like channels that kind of made sense. It was like the punk rock video channel where like almost like a Spotify playlist, but somewhere where people who like a certain thing could go watch like new music videos or classic music videos. But I do think YouTube is kind of the right platform to figure that out.
Speaking of Spotify, what role do you see that having now, which you certainly didn't have when you got started as a band? I mean, it's got to be a completely different mindset. Do you care about tangible albums? Do you care about music streaming? And how do you sort of balance all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all there, and whoever wants to, use it can use it. Like we always have vinyl. You'd be surprised how many CDs we sell.
So
Like,
many.
and honestly, like the physical copies, like most of the time, we'll offer like an autograph option or like a scribble on your like record option, and 9 times out of 10 people take that option because it means that like we actually like cared enough to like pay
Yeah.
attention to it. And so, I mean, even if you're just Spotify all the way or digital all the way, it's nice to have that like physical thing to hold.
And the
And
art is important. We always put lyrics there. So I think, I don't know, we'll never not make a physical product, even if it changes somehow. I think it's important to have, and we sell a shockingly high number of them, which is really cool.
yeah, because like you figure like even like 10 years ago, people were making jokes about CDs just being coasters,
Coasters, yeah.
like.
Which maybe
But
they are, but maybe the jackets go on a shelf somewhere.
yeah, but it's also like super awesome to like have the ability to just pull up any song at any time, if you
Yeah.
feel like hearing it. Like we went.
Like last night,
Yeah.
playing a game in the RV.
Oh yeah, we were playing this like silly.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, like it's a
It
long
was
story.
a guess the soundtrack game, and so
Okay.
Misky, our tour manager, would like play a song.
Yeah, you
I
won.
think you won. Yeah, she would play a song and we'd have to guess what the soundtrack was, and we were terrible at it.
Yeah, I don't know movies
Yeah.
like at all. But like it could be as simple as like we went out the other night like in our town or whatever. We went to like a rock bar and they had a DJ guy, spinning like old punk rock or current punk rock or whatever. And we walk in and he was like, "Hey guys," and it's like he knew who we were, which is cool, like whatever. And and then within like 5 minutes, like one of our songs comes on because he just had the ability to just go find it.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I mean, if you want to be spontaneous or whatever, it allows you to do that.
It's like the radio. I think fans will still support bands in different ways now, and I don't really care. I just want
Yeah.
people to listen to the music.
Yeah,
I feel like we're at a crossroads between the very data driven, the Spotify being able to research things and then it sort of shows, oh, if you like this, we'll suggest this, to having that tangible experience, the I met the band and I talked to them and this is what I have as a result of it. So I think that there's sort of a blur and I'm really not sure whether the tangible is ever going to fade out entirely. Kind of wonder, 5, 10 years from now, what we're going to be listening to music on. We used to, laugh about Napster and all the, illegal downloads, and now without music downloads, we'd have nothing.
a program curated list created by an AI bot that beams directly into some cranial implant that just feeds you what the AI
And then
thinks
you'll
you
put on
want to hear.
the mask, and you can be at like a concert. You don't even have to leave
Yeah.
the chair.
You don't even need a mask. It's just gonna tap right into your neurons and
I mean,
make you think.
honestly, touring, we already see like so many rock clubs disappearing. Like that's why it's awesome. Ottobar's here, and we played the Milestone in Charlotte. Like we had a show in New York booked that the venue got closed down like 2 weeks before the show, and we had to get moved to another venue because it got moved to like a dance club, or it got changed into a dance club. And so I think it is a little bit scary, like the rock and roll show thing, especially at a level like this. And I just hope there's gonna be a place for it.
So somewhere between the music streams, the album sales, and the live shows, what do you sort of deem as like, I guess, a benchmark for success? Like, I know that we're doing well because we've done this. It's used to just be we've sold this many copies of an album. That's a strong point, and that I can always turn to. But I don't think that that's. I think you have bands out of nowhere and artists out of nowhere that sell a ton of albums or have a ton of streams, and it doesn't always translate to the live show.
Yeah, that's very true.
I think that like it's changed for us a lot, because like when we first started, it was all about let's move to LA and let's get signed and let's be on a major label or whatever. And we've seen like success happen to our band. It's like, oh, we got a commercial or we got a huge Disney movie placement or like we're on TV or like whatever. Like we've had all those things happen. But in the
Lord.
end,
Yeah.
it's like just the ability to have this be our job is like all we really need. It's like that's enough. Like I mean, I appreciate when we like crush a venue and it's awesome and there are people there and they're loving it. But at the same time, it's like just being able to wake up and have this be what we do, is that's it.
And for me, I think like the internet has given us an ability to connect with our fans in a way that wasn't really possible, I think, in the old days. And I think the whole like illusion of being this like secret artist in the dressing room that you'll never see except on stage is gone. And I'm glad it is, because when we tour, that's kind of the fun part. It's the reward for the three of us because we work on the band all the time, and we you know it is what we do in all aspects. I mean, like accounting and social media and like, not all of it is glamorous, but when we get to come out and we get to meet people, I think we make a connection, and then they in turn support our band, and I think, that's what matters most.
Yeah, and like people are savvy enough to understand that it's an exchange. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like if if the people that like our music want us to be able to continue making it, they need to support it. It's like
Yeah.
get a T-shirt or get whatever. I mean, it's totally, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So we're very upfront about all that stuff. But in exchange, it's like, well, let's hang out.
Yeah, like after every show, we hang out until the venue makes us leave.
Yeah, we're literally
We
getting
sign
kicked out of the
everything.
venue.
We take
We're
all the
like-
pictures, and the venue's like, you have got to go.
It's like fans who, over time, they just kind of become your friends if you see them enough times or whatever. And yeah, you're all getting kicked out of the venue together, So.
And that's great because I think that whether you're a local band or you're Taylor Swift, I think fans want to meet you to have that human connection. If just to have shook a hand, said hello, said this is my favorite song, and get that sort of gratification. Whether it ends up as a selfie on Instagram or whatever, I think that even if that doesn't happen, because I know that that's definitely something that drives that force, I think it's just that human connection that really keeps things going and keeps listeners listening.
Yeah, and it helps us to keep going. Like when it's crappy, I can remember like all the people who we make happy, who I got hugs from on tour, and who say like, "Oh, this is my pump up song." It helps us too. It's a little bit selfish in a way.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So what does the rest of 2019 look for you guys?
Well, our kid's starting kindergarten
Monday.
Monday.
Wild,
So,
right?
yeah. And so, yeah, we did most of our touring for the year already. We're flying out for a couple festivals. And then we're doing a couple house parties. Like we offered, like, we'll come to your house and do like an acoustic show in your living room as a part of like our last crowdsource.
But now
So-
people are asking, and we usually just do it.
Yeah, or yeah, people reach out,
Weddings.
like we're gonna do like a wedding. It turns out, like it's and then we'll probably do a little bit of touring before the end of the year,
Yeah.
as well. So just
The
lining
kindergarten
things up.
thing doesn't mean that anything's going to change, though, because we've been working up to this for a few years. So every spring we do a tour that starts in the Midwest, goes to Texas, and then ends in California, and it's over spring break with the amount of days he can miss.
Yeah,
And then the rest of the touring we do in the summer or weekends, long weekends.
yeah. So
If you could do a punk rock or punk pop cover of like a kid's song, what would it be? And can you give me a little sample of it?
well, I don't know.
If we wanted it to be a hit, we would definitely do It's Raining Tacos.
It's raining tacos.
What?
It's raining
It's
tacos.
raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos. No need to ask why. Open your mouth and close your eyes.
It's raining tacos.
Yum, 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 yummity yum. Yeah, it's and
That's amazing. I've
it's
never
so
heard
funny.
that before, so that's great.
Our friend Perry Grip actually wrote that. He's
Yeah.
in Nerfherder, and he does a bunch of like kid songs that do drive us mad, but not as mad as the other ones.
I mean,
Yeah.
tacos is way better
Yeah.
than Baby Shark.
Yeah, and
Any
then
day.
Oh my God.
he has a breakfast burrito song that's pretty good. Like
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I know what I'm having for dinner too, so I appreciate that. Now we're going to get tacos.
That might be our next move.
Yeah,
though.
we might do a
We were
kids
thinking
record
about doing a
next.
kids record, like, because we're right in that world right now, and like, I mean,
We can't do another like album yet because this one's so good. It needs to live at least a couple years, I think. We usually do
Yeah.
an album every 2 years.
So maybe the next one's a kid one, but I mean, it'll sound.
It'll
good.
be a
It'll
good,
be a real album.
Yeah, it'll
but-
sound like our albums. It'll just be more kid related.
Yeah, and we have like parents that bring their kids to our shows all the time,
Yeah.
and so it's like, let's give them a little something, like, just for the kids.
You can use them as like your sounding board. What do you think about this? You
Yeah.
play it at home and you're like, does this work? No? Okay,
Yeah.
next.
No, they'll tell us.
Yeah,
what the
they're
good
very
songs are.
opinionated.
No, they'll tell us, I don't like that song. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, I guess you don't. And then when it's a hit, like they're like they know it. They know
Yeah.
it. They know. They're perceptive.
Well, time to rock on with the Dollyrots. This is Jackie. Thanks to In the Key of Change and Chorus FM. All right, guys. Thank